Okay, hi, good morning. This video will help you complete your notes for the first page of the unit of Shliach, unit number 5. We discussed yesterday that there's such thing as being an agent for somebody, which means to represent them, to do something on their behalf, not just to help them, but to actually do it for them, to be a legal representative. In Jewish law, in our tradition, there's also something similar. It's not quite the same, but is something similar to the idea of power of attorney. Discussed that legal power of attorney is not necessarily an attorney, it's any person who's competent, who's capable, has to be of legal age. So we'll see what the requirements are and what the similarities are in our tradition. Okay, so just a few words for the sugya. It's very, very short, but it will open up the door to explore a lot of interesting concepts. Word number one, shliach, is a word that we've used before. A shliach is an agent, right? Or a representative. You can use the word agent. Number two, ke is a prefix. It means like. Across from number two, we have the word ka moto, like him. Number three, shachat. We had this in Tanakh. Shchita, it's to slaughter. Number four, a kehal is a congregation, a kehila. Many synagogues are called kehilat so and so. Right, so Kehillah is a congregation. Number five, an Eidah is an assembly. An assembly is similar to a congregation. It means a group, a gathering of people. Eidah is an assembly. Number six, a Hey prefix before a certain words is a question. Sometimes it means da, like habayit. But in other words, like before a verb, or like in this case, before the word lo, it doesn't mean da. Ha here means a question mark. Hello means is it not? Isn't it? Number seven, ella means but or rather. And eight, mikan means from here, meaning from here we learn, right? From a certain source we learn a certain piece of information. Mikan, from here we learn. We have two important key terms that we are familiar with already. Number one, minayin, is like menohanimili, from where do we learn? Okay? Minayin, this key term introduces a she'ela, and the she'ela is we're asking for the source of a particular concept. From where do we know a certain law, a certain concept? Minayin, just like we had menohanimili in the last sugya. Shene'emar is a key term that we had several times in Mishnayot. Shene'emar means as it says. And this key term introduces a pasuk that is used as a source. Right? So we know that sometimes in Torah Sheba'al Peh, which means in Mishnah or Gemara, we find psukim, because either they're being explained, or these psukim are the source for different laws that we find in the Gemara. Shene'emar, as it says, and this key term introduces a pasuk that is used as a source. Okay? All right, so this is the sugya, this is the text of the Gemara, and it starts, De Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha. This is an abbreviation that means De Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha. We're picking up the sugya really in the middle. There's a bigger discussion here. That's why it starts as De Amar, that Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha says, Menayin sheshlucho shel adam kamoto. Right? This is the end of the first complete sentence. And I know that because the next word is shene'emar. That's already another key term. That's another step in the conversation. So let's focus on the first part. De Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha, Menayin sheshlucho shel adam kamoto. Use the words that we just learned, and you should be able to figure out what this means. Menayin, from where do we know? Shlucho shel adam, that the shliach of a person, that is the agent of a person, is kamoto, is like himself. Meaning, how do we know that there's such a concept in the Torah, that an agent is like the person who sent them? How do I know that my legal representative is like if I am doing it myself? How do we know that the agent, the Shliach, is like the person himself? All right? This is the first question. How do we know that the first sentence is there? So we know because the next word is Shenemar, which introduces the next step in the discussion. As we know, Shenemar is a key term, and each key term represents another step in the conversation, in the debate in the Gemara. Okay? Number 3. So now, if you look in the Gemara, it introduces a pasuk, because I know the word Shenemar is going to bring a pasuk. Shenemar, as it says in the Torah, the pasuk says, V'shachatu oto kol kahal adat Israel ben arvayim. And the entire assembly of the congregation of Bnei Israel will slaughter it in the afternoon. Now, this is talking about the Korban Pesach. The Korban Pesach was slaughtered in the afternoon before Pesach. Let's say that Pesach is tonight. Tonight we're going to have the Seder. That means that this afternoon there's a mitzvah to slaughter the Korban Pesach. And notice that the pasuk says, who is supposed to slaughter the Korban Pesach? The entire Jewish people. Kol kehal adat Israel. That's what it says. That the entire Jewish people will slaughter the Korban Pesach in the afternoon. Right? That's the pasuk. Says the Gemara, V'chi kol kehal kulam shochatin. Is it true that every member of the Jewish people slaughters the Korban Pesach? It's a rhetorical question. Is it true? Is it possible? Of course not, because number one, not everybody knows how to slaughter. Not everybody is qualified. Number 2, it's just not possible to fit the entire Jewish people in one place in Yerushalayim to slaughter the Korban Pesach. There's not enough hours, there's not enough space. So when the pasuk says that the entire Jewish people will slaughter the Korban Pesach, ve'alo eino shochet ela echad, isn't it? Lo, ve'halo, isn't it? That only one person slaughters it, which means we get a group. The Korban Pesach is eaten as a chabura, as a group. Let's say there's going to be 15 of us or 32 of us, our family or our friends. We get together and we send one of us to slaughter the Korban Pesach. So for each 20, 30, 40, 50 people, one person goes to slaughter the Korban Pesach. So who's slaughtering? One on behalf of many people, right? So isn't it slaughtered by just one person? Ella, rather, mikan, from here we learn. From here, meaning from this pasuk, from the procedure of the Korban Pesach, we learn sheshlucho shel adam kamoto, that the agent, the person that you sent to do something on your behalf, is as if you yourself did it. Meaning, when one person of our group slaughters it, it's considered like we all slaughtered the Korban Pesach. So this is the source for this concept that there is an idea of shlichut, that somebody can be my agent, my representative when it comes to a mitzvah. Okay, so let's finishing up our notes. The pasuk number 3, introduced by the word. Okay, you know the word. Shenemar, and the entire congregation of Bnei Israel will slaughter it, referring to the Korban Pesach, towards the evening. It's brought in the afternoon. The Gemara asks, V'chi kol ha'ka'al kulam shochatin, does the entire congregation slaughter it? Does it? Ve'alo eino shochet ela echad. Isn't it slaughtered by just one person, meaning one person of the group? Isn't it slaughtered by just one member of the group? Meaning, it is impossible for every single individual to slaughter, as we mentioned before, because there's not enough space, there's not enough time, not everybody has the ability. So what does it mean that everybody shall slaughter? So the Gemara answers, Ela mikan sheshlucho, and the shorish of shlucho is, right, Shliach, shel adam kamoto, right, is kemo. The Gemara answers, from here we learn that the Shliach of a person is like the person himself. So if I send you to do a mitzvah on my behalf, is as if I did it myself. So like in class we discussed yesterday, a good example of this is tzedakah. From here, we know that if I ask one of you guys, hey, when you go to this particular place, give $1 for tzedakah, and you do it, when you give it is if I gave it. And we learn this from the concept of Korban Pesach, right? Because not everybody slaughters, and yet the Torah says everybody's slaughtering. How does that work? Because one person does it, it is as if everybody did it. So what we know now is the source for the concept of Shliach. We learn it from the slaughtering of the Korban Pesach, which I like you to think, why does the Torah use the Korban Pesach as the source to teach this concept of Shliach? It's very significant that the Torah used this opportunity to teach us about the concept of Shliach, for a Shliach mitzvah, for a Shliach for a person. Okay, and then we're going to spend some time discussing when can you use a Shliach and when not, right? When is it possible to rely on a Shliach and when one cannot? Who is authorized to be a Shliach and who is not? Okay, looking forward to seeing you.